So think about this for a second. A huge global company. I mean, operations on every continent. How in the world do they keep track of every single thing they sell? From the second a customer in California clicks buy to the moment that payment lands in a bank in Germany, there's this incredible digital system working behind the scenes. And nope, it's not magic. It's a super carefully designed process. And today, that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to build the digital blueprint for one of the most important processes out there, selling and distributing goods.
Just a quick note, this explainer was put together by Samir Al-Rashani with some help from AI.
All right, so let's get right to the heart of it. The big question is, how does a global company digitally juggle every single sale? I mean, from the very first order right through to getting paid. It's a massive challenge for sure. And the secret? Well, it all comes down to creating a perfect digital mirror of the real-world business.
So, we're diving into the order-to-cash lifeline, the core business process. To really get how this digital mirror works, we've got to start with the absolute lifeline of any company that sells products. It's a cycle, right? And people in business, especially accountants, they call it the order-to-cash process.
What's so wild about this order-to-cash thing is just how big it is. It's not just one little step. We're talking about the entire journey of a sale. It literally starts the second a customer says, yep, I want that, and it covers every single thing that happens to get that product to them. And it's not over until the money is actually in the company's bank account. So you can see why it's the absolute core engine that makes the business money.
Okay, so trying to manage a journey this complex, well, you need a seriously powerful tool. And in the world of big business software, the gold standard is a system like SAP. We're going to be looking specifically at its sales and distribution module, or what people just call SD. As you can see, it's built to handle the whole shebang in one place. Sales, shipping, billing, credit management, even all the messy details of foreign trade. It's all connected. All right, next up, we're building the digital company looking at the SAP organizational structure. Now, here's the thing. Before a single order can even be touched, we have to do something that's absolutely critical. We have to build that digital replica, that detailed blueprint of the company right inside the system. This is what we call the organizational structure. So let's break it down and see how it's built piece by piece. So, at the very, very top of our blueprint is something called the client. Now, this is a bit of SAP jargon, so listen up. A client is not a customer. Nope, it's the entire corporate group. Think of a giant global company, like our example, Global Bike. The client is basically the big container that holds everything. Everything they do, all over the world. Okay, let's go one level down. Now we have the company code. And this is a really important one. A company code is basically a legally separate business. It's a part of the company that has to create its own official financial reports, balance sheets, income statements for things like taxes. So for a global company, it's pretty simple. You'd usually have one company code for each country. So for our example, Global Bike Inc. would be the company code for the United States. All right, now we get to the fun part, the actual selling. A sales organization is the unit that's in charge of negotiating sales deals and getting products out the door. And here's the crucial bit. It's the part of the company that's legally on the hook for those sales and any issues with the products. So inside our U.S. company code, you might have a U.S. West sales org and a U.S. East one, with each handling its own territory. Okay, next up, we've got two more key pieces of this puzzle, the distribution channel versus the division. And it's actually pretty straightforward. The distribution channel is all about how products get to the customer. Are we selling wholesale to big distributors, in retail stores, or maybe directly to people online? That's the how. The division, on the other hand, is about what we're selling. It's just a way to group similar products together, like, say, bicycles in one group and accessories in another.
And here it is. This is where the magic happens, where it all clicks together. We take those last three things we talked about and combine them to create what's called a sales area. So sales area is just a unique mix of a sales organization, a distribution channel, and a division. For example, US West selling bicycles through the wholesale channel. So why is this a big deal? Because that specific combination is what sets the rules for the sale, especially pricing. You can imagine a wholesale customer buying a bike out west is going to get a totally different price than someone buying a helmet at a retail store back east.
So let's make this real with our Global Bike example. You can see it laid out perfectly here. At the tippy top, you have the Global Bike client. Under that, the U.S. company code. Then within the U.S., we're looking at the U.S. West sales organization. How do they sell? Through the wholesale channel. And what do they sell? Products from the bicycles division. See that?
It's this clean, layered structure that gives us the digital blueprint we absolutely need to run the whole operation. Okay, we're moving on to the core business data and populating our blueprint with master data. So think about it. We've built this amazing digital framework of our company. But right now, it's just an empty shell. A blueprint is useless without the details, right? So now we've got to fill it up with the essential long-term information the business needs to actually function. And this stuff, this is called master data. When it comes to the sales process, there are 3 types of master data that are just non-negotiable. You could call it the holy trinity of sales data. First, you have the customer master. Simple question, who are we selling to? Second, the material master. What are we selling? And third, the condition master, which is all about the price. For how much are we selling it? Who, what, and how much? That's it. Let's zoom in on that customer master for a second because it's actually pretty clever. It's not just a big blob of information. The data is split up and organized across that blueprint we just built. So you'll see here the general stuff, like the customer's name and address, that lives at the very top, at the client level. Then you have company code data, things like payment terms and accounting rules, that's stored at the legal company level. And finally, you have sales area data, like specific shipping instructions. That's defined for each unique sales area. The result? You get this incredible flexibility. The same customer can have totally different deals depending on where and how they're buying from you. Next up is the material master. The best way to think about this is as the single source of truth, the Bible, really, for every single product the company sells. It has everything in it. Its description, its weight, how to make it, where to store it in the warehouse, and, of course, how to sell it. This one little record is basically the lifeblood of the product. Pretty much every single department in the company relies on it. And last but not least, let's talk money. This is the condition master, and it's all about pricing. You know that pricing is almost never simple, right? It's always this complex mix of base prices, maybe some extra fees, special discounts for certain customers, shipping costs, taxes, the list goes on. Well, this condition master data is where all those rules live. It lets the system figure out the exact right price for any sale automatically and in a split second. Okay, let's move on to the process in action, executing the order-to-cash cycle. The blueprint is built, the data is all in there, the stage is set. So now, let's watch it all come together. Let's run through a real transaction in the order-to-cash cycle. So here's how it plays out, step by step. It all starts when a customer sends us a purchase order. Boom, we create a sales order in our system. That immediately kicks off a bunch of checks. Do we have the product? Is the customer's credit okay? Once that's clear, an outbound delivery is created. That's basically the green light for the warehouse to jump into action. The crew goes and picks the stuff off the shelves, packs it up. Then comes a really critical step, post-goods issue. This is the point of no return. It's when the products legally belong to the customer and our inventory and financial books get updated instantly. And the final step? We create the invoice and send it off so we can get paid. And this quote here really just nails it. The key part is that the structure plays a big role in selecting the correct master data. See, that organizational structure we built, it's not just some charts sitting in a PowerPoint. No way. It's an active model of the real-world business. So when a sale happens, the system uses that structure to automatically pull in the right customer details, the right product info, and the perfect price. Every single time. No guesswork. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. A really effective sales system, one that can handle a global business, is so much more than just a place to store orders. It is a deeply connected, powerful digital model of the entire business. Its legal setup, how it sells, what it sells, who it sells to, everything. That's where the real power comes from, having that complete, integrated digital picture. And that brings us to a final question, something for you to chew on. Everything we just built, that's the blueprint for a company selling physical stuff you can hold. But what if the business sells services, like consulting, or digital subscriptions, like a streaming service? How would this blueprint have to change? What parts would you keep, and what would you have to totally rethink? Something to think about.